Hi, welcome to Python Programming session 26. In this session, we are going to discuss about constructors and destructors in Python object-oriented programming. Constructor and destructors in Python. What is a constructor? A constructor is a special function that is automatically executed when the object is created. So that we call it as a constructor. In Python, there is a special function called init, which is used to invoke an object or which is used to initialize an object when it is created. So it must begin and end with a double underscore. That is, I have to write as underscore underscore init, and it should be followed by underscore underscore. Then if I want, I can just pass self. That can be followed by any number of arguments. So this function will act as an ordinary function, but only difference is that it will be executed automatically when the object is created, and the constructor function can be defined with or without arguments. So anyway, you are going to have a self argument. Apart from that, if you want, you can just pass the other arguments if required. And this method is used to initialize the class variable. The general format of init method is def space underscore underscore init space underscore underscore, then it is followed by a self. This is an optional list of arguments. So optional list of arguments means if you want, you can pass the arguments, otherwise it is not required. So it can be followed by a statements. So see here, this is a normal function, but the name is already given. So the def keyword is used to define it because it is a function, and the first argument refers to the current object. It binds the instance to the init method, and it is usually named as self to follow the naming convention. We will discuss it further. And the init method arguments are optional. We can define a constructor with any number of arguments. Example, class car. So car is the name of my class. Def underscore underscore init underscore underscore self comma window comma door comma engine. So I am just passing 3 arguments, and this is a default arguments, or this can be a mandatory argument for any of the methods inside a class. Self dot window is equal to window, self dot door is equal to door, and self dot engine is equal to engine. So I'm just initializing all the values for the class variables, and I say auto is equal to car of 4 comma 5 comma petrol. When I execute this, what happens? It will assign 4 to window, 5 to door, and petrol to engine. So if you print auto car has auto.door and auto.window, it will print auto car has 5 doors and 4 windows. Destructor. So just like a constructor init, we have a special function which will be executed automatically when the object exits from the scope. So that we call it as a destructor, that is underscore underscore del underscore underscore. If you consider this example, this is the same example where we have created an object by assigning 3 class variables. So we are using these class variables, 3 variables are initialized using the constructor init def underscore underscore del is equal to self print destructor. So def print car of self. When I just create print car of self, print auto car has how many doors and windows, like that. If I print, when I create a object auto car of 4 comma 5 comma petrol, it will just create and it will print the destructor. So automatically it will be printing the value, and the destructor will be automatically invoked when the object is deleted or it is coming exit out of the particular program. Self. A self is the first argument for every method. So that is a mandatory argument. You have to pass a reference to the current instance by using a variable or by using an argument called self. So by convention, we name this argument as self only. Underscore underscore init underscore underscore self refers to the object currently being created. So in other classes and methods, it refers to the instance whose method was called. So like self will refers to the currently invoking object. This can be compared with the this keyword. We know there is a this keyword in Java and C++. So it refers to the currently invoking object. The same way you can use this self keyword for to refer to the currently invoking object. So we can use self keyword to invoke currently or to refer to currently invoking object or the instance. So Python uses self more often than the Java. There, if it is required, we'll go for this keyword. But here it becomes a mandatory to pass as an argument for every method. So it refers to self often, and we don't want to give the value for this parameter. It is implicit. Always it will be implicitly passed. So you don't want to provide any value for this particular parameter. Although we specify the self explicitly when defining the method, you don't want to include it when calling the method. And Python passes it to you automatically. How to define a method now? In this code, we have def get age of self comma num. So we are having two arguments. So this self is the default argument and num is going to be the other required argument. Self dot age is equal to num. When you want to call the method, how to call? X dot get age, like that you can call. You don't want to pass any value for self. So this 23 refers only to this num only. So self is implicitly passed. You don't want to pass any value explicitly. Let us write a program to calculate area and circumference of a circle by creating a class circle. So class circle diff underscore underscore init underscore underscore self comma radius. I am passing two arguments. Self is a mandatory argument and along with that I am passing radius. Now self dot radius is equal to radius. I am initializing the class variable def area of self. So this is a mandatory argument. Return 3.14, that is 3.14 into self dot radius into to the power 2. So this is a power operator. So it will be calculating a radius square. Def circumference self colon return 2 into 3.14 into self dot radius 2 pi r. So r is equal to int input of enter the radius. C is equal to circle of r. I am just creating the value and I am just passing the radius as an argument to this particular init method, and it is printing the circle circumference and the area. So the output looks like this. So it will take input for the radius, calculate the area and the circumference. Even the same thing with different radius you can execute. So here what we have to remember with Python is when we delete an instance, there is no need to use a free. We learned in the first chapter only. So like Java, Python also implements automated garbage collection. So you don't want to invoke your garbage collector. Automatically it will be invoked and the objects will be collected and it will be added to the free space. Here we don't want to delete or free it explicitly. Python has an automatic garbage collection and it automatically detects when all the references to the piece of memory has gone out of scope, read that particular memory. Generally it works well except few memory leaks, and there is no destructor method for classes. So we can use del method, but it is not explicitly a destructor method. How to access attributes and methods? Class student def init of self comma n comma a full name is equal to N, age is equal to A. Get age of self. So I am just read the age of self, return self dot age. Then f is equal to student Python of 14. It will just initialize the value with the name, full name as Python, and the variable age with 14. So when I call f dot full name, it will just print the value Python. When I say f dot get age, it will come here and it will return the current age. So it will be printing it as 14. Like this, you can access the attributes and methods by using the dot operator. You can refer these books and the websites for further reading. Have a nice day.